folks. It's time to talk antiques once again. And, boys, we're going to have to do it on our own again. The boss has done laid out again.
He has. You want to just stall till he shows up? Do you think he'd drive over?
What would that be, about 2 hours?
Oh, well, that would be good. But,
We could probably find something to talk about for a couple hours.
well, I guess we better do what he's expecting us to do there, because he might fire all three
Yeah,
of
we
us.
won't get
He
paid if we
might.
don't.
Well, 4 of us.
He's wanting us to talk about radios. He must have some radios he's wanting to go buy.
That's probably what it is, or either he's got something for sale.
Well, that way we do the legwork, and then,
Yeah,
and then he knows what he needs to know.
that's the way with the boss.
Right? He's smart.
That's
Like
right.
that.
That's what he needs, boss.
Yeah, that's why.
All right.
So, I've looked up the history of radio here. Do you have it on yours, Phil?
No, I haven't.
'Cause
I
I'm
haven't
not
pulled
gonna
up.
Be much of in
Do
the
you want me
reading.
to? You want me to read on it? Okay.
Yeah, if you want to read off
I'll tell you
mine.
what, they've come a long ways. I've got one that plays at 78s, 33s, and plays the radio AM, FM, and got some cassette tapes, or you can do the CD, all in
Well,
one little box.
when we get down here, we're going to tell them about the Holy Grail of radios.
Okay.
Phillips found the Holy Grail.
All right. Now, hang on. Let me make sure I'm on the right subject for you here. What did you say? So, by the way, our subject today is radios, or to start with at least. Okay.
History of radio. Well, you
Okay.
got radio. That's good.
Okay.
Sound like these antique radios is pretty hot.
They can bring some money.
Some of them can.
Okay, so the wireless communication predates the discovery of radio with the experiments of wireless telegraph via inductive and capacitive induction transmission through the ground, water. They even tried it with the railroad tracks in the 1830s.
I wonder whose idea that was.
James Clerk Maxson, it seems.
He was the guy.
No,
about
he was the guy. No,
electromagnetic
he was the
waves.
one who figured out that electromagnetic waves could propagate through free space in 1864, and around 1880. In 1888, Heinrich Rudolf Hertz was able to conclusively prove transmitted airborne electromagnetic waves in an experiment confirming the Maxwell's theory of electromagnetism. So, which we have a Hertz, which is
The
he got
frequency
named. It
of
was
the electricity.
yeah,
of the
all
signals.
kinds of things are measured in their hertz.
I think we're about 50 or 60 hertz here. I think we're maybe 60, 50.
They said after they discovered this, it would be 20 years before the term radio would be applied. And let's see, where is it? Okay. American engineer Nikola Tesla considered them useless for communication since light could not transmit further than the line of sight. So that's one of the few things that Tesla was wrong on.
Well, as a matter of fact, he was suing Marconi over the invention of radio. And I think the suit was finally settled after he died, because Marconi used a lot of Tesla's patents.
His parts to build it. Yeah. They said starting in 1894, the Italian inventor Marconi built the first complete commercially successful wireless telegraph system based on airborne Hertzian waves, radio communications. Marconi demonstrated application of radio in military and marine communications and started a company for the development and propagation of radio communication services and equipment. So, let's see, where was the... Oh, well, that's so Marconi brought us the radio in the late 1800s. When did... Are any of y'all old enough to remember when you having a radio in the living room instead of a TV set?
I remember at one
I can
point,
remember it.
Oh, really?
RCA was the king. They had all the broadcasting stations. They sold the radios. They almost had a monopoly on it.
Hey, I remember
They were
my
huge.
grandmother used to sit and listen to them soap operas over the radio, and we'd slip up there and pull the plug out.
Yeah.
Ooh, war was on, and we always lost.
As a matter of fact, RCA was the first television broadcasting company, too. I think that was NBC,
Yeah.
the National Broadcasting Company.
Could be that
Talking about fake news.
the chime thing.
Talking about fake news. But, and they beat out the guy that actually invented TV by keeping him in court till he was so broke he just couldn't make any money on his patents.
Yeah.
Well, see how
You can do
blessed
that
we
with
are?
hospitals too, you know.
I didn't know that.
See, if they'd have known what we know today, they could have been on TV and radio.
There you go.
That's how swift we are today.
Well, just think how many things we have actually works off the principles of radio or cell phones.
True.
You know?
That's very true.
Remote control cars,
Yeah, exactly.
radio controlled cars. There you
Radios, televisions, I mean, our drones.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing. It's a big thing. And it brought us out of the dark ages.
go. Okay. Well, on that, I pulled up some vintage radios to see if you might have one stuck back in the closet or something like that, whether it works or not. I've got the top-rated classic 1940s radio was an Addison Art Deco Cotillion Bakelite tube radio. 40 bids on this one. $2,610. It is a really bright
Yeah,
red orange.
orange and
It's really
red.
pretty for that Bakelite kind of
That was
thing.
one of the first forms of plastic.
Yeah. And here is a vintage ruby red Tombstone Cathedral Gill Cotillion radio model, model BT 245. 43 bids on that one, went for $2,394. I wonder if the person owning that had any idea that it was going to go for $2,400.
I'm going to say they expected to get a couple $100 out of it.
I noticed they're making a lot of kitchen appliances and things based on the Crosley radio look.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat looking.
It's coming back. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff like that.
David's got a Crosley over at his house. I've got a Thordarson vintage vacuum tube radio, audio amplifier, 2 push-pull power, and I think this is just an insert for it.
Or maybe it was a kit that you would build
Could have been,
home
yeah.
kind of thing.
Brought $1,275 on a buy it now.
Wow.
And I've got a 1920s, an antique Western Electric Marcon era radio old tube amplifier. And this looks like a box with some tubes on it, just a wooden box with some tubes in the back and some buttons on the side. And it brought $795 on a buy it now.
Wow. I've got a 1923 Federal Type 61 radio. It's a really big one with the knobs all over the front of it, and the top opens up to let the tubes breathe. I believe is probably what that was. 34 bids on that one. It went for $2,200.
This is Radio Mothership.
Yeah, it's really big, but it looks like something that probably came out of an Apollo
That could be a mothership.
rocket. Yeah.
I got another Thordarson vintage vacuum tube. It's an audio amplifier. Brought $610 after 31 bids, and it's just 2 metal boxes with a wire in between them. I guess you had to have your own antennas.
Power supply is separate, maybe.
Yeah, this just is the amplifier. So maybe you got to buy these parts separate to put your radio together, because you got to have a speaker.
I've got a really nice 1933 Raymond Lowry Old World Colonial Globe Art Deco Bakelite map radio.
And that's what it looks like, is a globe.
It's a little globe, and so you know how there used to be transistors and they would put radios into all kinds of little things for kids to have in their room.
Yeah.
And this is a globe, but it's 1933. It's got to be tubes. You can't.
Gotta be too, because I remember when I was a kid, the big deal was a transistor radio.
Yeah.
They were about as big as your hand, maybe.
Right.
And looked like a little square box, and And that was, I guess as small as you could get it.
Yeah, you'd assume. So people were excited about it. There were 31 bids on it, and it went for $1,650. So, man, that's a good find.
Yeah, and it really looks nice.
Oh,
though.
it's
You
in
just have to
excellent
keep it more
condition.
in your house.
1933. That thing's, almost 80 years old, and it looks
Looks like something you'd get today,
Yeah.
maybe some retro something.
Yeah.
I guess the speaker's in the base of it.
I assume so. Yeah. They've got it. Here's another nice one. Is 1933 Emerson Mickey Mouse antique radio. And so is that a Krausley design kind of thing?
That Mickey
Is that
Mouse
what you call
would
it?
make it,
And
the money in itself.
Mickey in the middle of it playing a stand-up bass in their, I guess that's Bakelite probably. Mm-hmm. So that was a buy it now for $1,600, and they got it. So
Look like they jumped all over it.
Yeah.
That's a good size one. I'm below that one.
yeah, there's a mid-century, I guess that'd be 1950s or 60s stereo console. It's a Zenith with a record player, radio. It's one of those that my grandparents would have had.
Zenith was big on making
Yeah.
them look like furniture.
Yeah, it's very cool looking, kind of approaching Art Deco furniture. And when they got a $1,600 with a buy it now on that. But David brought in a Sears catalog, or like a really old 1960s Sears catalog, and these things, with the TV on them, cost $1,000 and more, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could spend $1,000 on
TVs
on a
were
TV
expensive back in the day, and
Yeah.
and y'all remember the old TV repairman?
Oh, yeah.
Used to come to your house and fix your TV.
He was a really cool guy. I like to hang out with him. But
Hey,
my
old
parents
Sam
probably
York,
hated
love to
him.
hear y'all talk about him like that. I'll tell him y'all talked about him on there today.
I mean, they did. I mean,
Old Sam he repaired a lot of TVs in this little area.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. And that's I'm
Good
from
man.
Cleveland, Tennessee, and we had a guy that would come around and had a really cool box
Full of tubes.
with tubes and all kinds of stuff,
that little
and he
tester.
just amazed me to fix our TV. And of course, my parents winced every time he walked in the door because I'm sure he wasn't free by any means.
yeah. Well, you can imagine, it's probably all more than 9 out of 10 times just a tube.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like Sam
Yeah.
said, nowadays you can buy a TV cheaper and you can repair one.
And you used to go in and I'd see these tube testers.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying you
In the
could take
grocery
your tubes
stores.
in.
Yeah, or not the grocery store, the drug stores would have it like right in the door.
You just pull it out yourself. It looks burned. You take it in there and just
Right.
stick it on there. And they generate a lot of heat.
Oh yeah, that's what some of
I
these
tell
that
you,
you're
it's
showing.
amazing the technology and the learning abilities that people have to master stuff like that. I
yeah.
can sit around and watch Sam. He'll take an old TV somebody give him and have that thing running in top shape in no time.
And nowadays they're throwaways.
Yeah.
They're not
pretty
worth
much.
taking in and having them worked on.
Well, there's a place in Tullahoma that they actually work on
They still work on.
flat screens,
Yeah.
flat screen TVs and stuff. I went in there and got a part for my heater fan, and they had two really big ones broke down that they were fixing. But I mean, it's $1,000 TV, so
Yeah.
Do they sell them?
yeah, they sell them and fix them too. So but they're the only place I've seen.
That's the first I've heard.
Remind me.
Oh, on College Street.
College Street.
I can't think of the name of it. If I drove by,
You know,
I'd give them a plug. But,
Well,
Yeah.
all right. Well, are we at the commercial
I-
break here, Brian?
I
It's
think
that
we
time.
are.
Okay.
But there's more to come. Stay tuned for more Let's Talk Antiques on Thunder Radio.
Hello, I'm Pickin' Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in, get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
You know, it looks like old Max would have come up here and filled in for David this morning. I guess his wife got him out digging dishes or something out there in the yard.
You know, I guess if we'd asked him,
I was going to say, maybe we should have invited
it
him.
helps. It helps.
Well, that might be a better point, yeah.
It helps a lot when you ask somebody.
Well,
Max, hurry up. Get over here. You can help us out in the second half of that.
Yeah.
Donna won't get mad. Too mad.
Okay, I've got a Radio Craftsman C450 vintage tube amp. $139 on a buy it now. I have a vintage Allied radio. This was a kit. AM/FM stereo tuner working. So it was the FM makes it a little newer. It sold for $179. And you've got the Holy Grail over there. We've been
I do have the
teasing
Holy
them with.
Grail. It is a Panasonic RF 9000. It says it's like new in-box condition with manual schematics and accessories. And apparently, like I say, there was only one bid on it, but that one bid was $10,000. And it was made between 1982 and 1985, so it's, I guess, theoretically it's, kind of old, but it's not
I wonder what made
as
it
old
so
compared to
special,
the
does
rest
it
of them.
say?
It is, let's see, extremely scarce due to low production and high collector demand, limited production.
There you go.
Let's see, it was Panasonic's answer to competitors in the category of mega portables. The company decided to hit it out of the park in terms of design and quality of construction, producing what is arguably one of the most beautiful pieces of electronics ever made, and the radio just screams quality. Let's see, the cover has plastic has a plastic space to allow display of the LCD clock, and it's just talking about how the condition of it's in perfect condition. I don't entirely know what's amazing about it, but apparently
The supply and demand is what I understood.
apparently there is something pretty amazing on it,
But
because
now that's a portable. It kind of looks like
it says
one of those boom boxes.
it says mega portable. I mean, it looks pretty big to me, and it's got a lot of buttons on the front.
Yeah, you remember the boom boxes with the
You
cassette
got to be
players on?
airplane pilot to
Yeah.
I've got one.
control.
So.
I use it on jobs.
And another odd one that just fell in the list of radios is a vintage 1978 R2D2 AM radio, factory sealed AFA 75. Buy it now, $1,500. They got for
It's
that.
been graded it's about average condition.
Yeah,
But it brought the money though, didn't it?
man. Well, how many R2D2 AM radios have you seen?
I never had one of those. And it's no bigger than an action figure.
No, it looks like it's right about it. So, Yeah, no, so it was only AMs because they would have had to make it bigger to.
So if it
put
was
the FM.
Kenner, it was made in the United States.
Yeah.
I think Britain had the PAL toys. So
And it's something odd on it. On the cover here is R2D2 is spelled ARTOODETOO.
yeah, they spelled it like that.
I've never seen it done like
I've
that.
seen it like that quite a bit.
Here's a nice one. Is a vintage Dr. Pepper tube amp AM
It's like
radio.
a cooler.
It does. It looks just like a cooler. Looks like the top would slide over, and it's got it looks like a bottle opener or a coin acceptor on the front. And well, they got 40 bids on it, so $1,435. So
I've got a little Coca-Cola one.
yeah, I've never seen one. And here's a nice. I remember seeing these around, discarded when I was a kid. It's a Toshiba old vintage transistor radio made in Japan. It's green. Looks, gosh, what era would you say that's from? Is 1960s or 70s? Okay.
Click on it and see.
And let's see, it was
Money.
23 bids. It brought $1,400. Let's see if they know in the description as to.
For $1,400, I think I'd know.
Well, then again, sometimes you don't know,
What do
and
they
you're
do?
just amazed by it.
Yeah.
No, there's no description whatsoever on it. They've just got pictures, so that people know what they're bidding on.
Well, somebody knows.
Yep, it
Hey,
came
you know,
with
it
a
could be
came with a
60s.
nice little case too.
It could be 60s.
Yeah,
The way the speaker's made.
That's what- yeah.
Fabric on the cover. I used to see those old guitar amps. They had that on them.
right. Yeah. Here's the Tweed, 1924 Atwater Kent radio, Model 9 breadboard. It says 4-tube radio receiver. 21 bids on it, went for $1,377.
Wow.
Why would you need one of those that much?
I think it's more a case of want. When I was younger, I used to go to Radio Shack and get the electronics kits, and one of them that I had was a radio transmitter that you could make, and you could tune your car radio, outside and hear what you were broadcasting.
Oh no, I hadn't seen
It's
that.
just real short range, but they were interesting, and a lot of those kits were breadboards, so you could change the parts around.
Right.
Did you ever put those together?
I did a couple of breadboard, but I was nothing complicated. At
I
all
love
with it,
those
no.
things. I had the computers to put together, and they didn't do much back then. Just more or less light up a light.
Yeah. I've got a vintage Art Deco 1930s radio bar original, but it's just a case. It doesn't have the radio in it. It says
Good looking case.
needs restoration. It's not a bad case. They were asking $5,000 and took a best offer, and the best offer was somewhere around $1,400. So not what they were asking for, but still pretty good amount of money.
Yeah, I'd say they made money at that. Or
Now here is something that is really cool. This is one 300B Western Electric Hi-Fi radio amplifier tube. Date code is 6439. There's one bid on
this
that.
is just a tube, right?
Yeah, a radio tube. $1,400 for that tube.
So we need to be scrounging up some tubes.
Well, this is probably new old stock and probably still has everything with it. That's a friend of mine. Owns couches over in Tullahoma, and they said that there was a whole bunch of things like tubes up in the top where they used to sell TVs and repair stuff and things, and he went through it, and because I told him about guitar amps, Jacob Gray, and how expensive some of the tubes were for guitar amps, and he was like, man, I'm gonna go check that out, and he spent like 2 days going through all of them and writing them all down and finding them. And then we went on eBay and found out they were worth about $2 a piece.
Oh God!
They didn't have any of the ones that were valuable. And he was I had told him about it, and he was like, "Man, these are really old. I think these will be great." And no, but if you keep hanging on to them, for another.
Yeah, well, if somebody needs one
Yeah.
to repair,
That's
a
what-
vintage amp, because, if you want to recreate the old sounds, you need the real deal,
Yeah, absolutely.
Not an amp that replicates the sound.
Right, and those
Yeah.
ones at Couches, like I say, there was probably none that are younger than 50 years old there. So you hold on to them for another 20 or 30 years, and they'll probably get there.
That was probably worth so much because it was an oscillator. It amplified.
Right. So this tube here, I'd say it's you have to have it to get your old radio to work. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
And you can
Got
either
a-
buy the Russians kept making tubes for longer than America did.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they don't sound nearly as good.
No.
From what I hear.
Some of those Russian radios bring big money. I've seen on here. I've got a Rotel RX203. It is a wood vintage receiver amplifier radio. This is the amplifier like you would get in a kit.
Yeah.
They would have the amp in one door and the tuner in one, and now this brought $149.95. So if somebody needed one of those, to make their turntable or their receiver or whatever work, their speaker, it powers their speakers. If you got some of those sitting around, that's pretty good money.
Now here you go. You were talking about boomboxes.
There you
We
go.
got to
You
the
got
point where I found a boombox.
The 80s.
1983 vintage boombox Helix 4635 Ghetto Blaster. Let's say fully restored and working condition. 33 bids on this. $1,175.
Wow, it says Bluetooth speaker.
Well, I don't think it's got Bluetooth built into it. I'm sure you have a. I think they were just trying to get people's attention with that.
I wonder if that technology is that old. I don't think so.
No, it definitely wasn't. So
I don't remember anything Bluetooth in the 80s.
no, but that is. I remember having a friend in the '80s who had one that was really, really like that, and we drug it around everywhere we went, and it ate batteries. And
I've got one that I take on jobs with me. It's old, and the knobs, you got to wiggle them to get them to work. But maybe I need to wipe it off and take some pictures.
maybe so. Here's a vintage Charlie McCarthy tube radio, 1940s. There's one in black and one in white. So the pair of them went for $1,200. So it's a
Wow.
buy now. So
Are we about ready for a break?
We can take it. But we'll be back with more Let's Talk Antiques on Thunder Radio.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
$6,000.
All right, folks, we're back on the air with Let's Talk Antiques. So let's do some more talking, boys. What we're going to go to now?
Okay, we're going to start talking about record players now. If you had a radio, you need a record player too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the radio sells records. So
Yeah.
there you go. So I've got some things on here now just to throw in. It's not old, but apparently Macintosh, spelled differently than the computer, sells really, really nice turntables. 88 bids for a Macintosh MT 10.5, and it sold for $6,773.
Now, I don't
That-
know what is so special about that thing.
That must be a really nice
But,
record player, is all I
Yeah,
can say.
if it looks new, brand new to me.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's used, but it's not vintage.
Yeah.
So, and when we get down to the older stuff,
I've got a Swiss Thorns TD 145 turntable, and that's just a turntable. Record player. It says it has a teak plinth base. $300 for 7 bids.
looks like a nice one.
Yeah, these are mostly these turntables. They went with those systems. Mm-hmm. Like that amp we was talking about a while ago.
Right. I've got a Sony PSX9 legendary broadcast turntable in outstanding condition. $4,400 was to buy it now on that.
Wow.
But it had free
That is
shipping.
good.
Yeah, I think I'd give them free shipping too for $4,000.
Yeah, if you got that for the buy it now, yeah.
Yeah, I got a Lincoln 50 player changer flipper. Now this is just one of the things that changed the records.
Yeah.
$275 on a buy it now.
Here's a 1964 Beatles turntable record player.
Oh, that's neat.
43 bids on it. $3,305.
That I can see because it was Beatles.
There
But
you
it's just a record player with a picture of the Beatles.
Right, exactly. And another one right below it is a one of 5,000 1964 Beatles turntable, and it went for 49 bids on it. And went for $3,261. These are both from Malta, by the
On
way.
the Beatles ones, they say they made 5,000
They
of
only
them.
made 5,000, they say.
I guess that's why.
And these look like they play 45s. So
I got a Fisher Allegro A19 and X19 with a Gerard record player, tube amp stereo system, $249. And this just looks like a turntable with a what they call the things that the needle went on. There's one right there. What is that called?
the arm,
Yeah,
the
the
arm,
arms.
yeah,
Yeah, this one bends.
tone arm, actually.
Yeah,
I think.
like our microphones do,
Yeah.
stands do. It bends to $249.
I've got a vintage Thorns TD 125 long bass turntable, rare. The buy it now on it was $3,200. It's
Wow.
really nice, very Art Deco.
Yeah,
looking.
the TD 145 just brought $300.
This
Oh, you
this
had a-
one's-
you had a
it
better
says it's
model.
rare. Maybe that they told the truth on this one.
Yeah, that's what you wonder about. I've got a nice vintage RCA Victor Model 45 EY2. It's a 45 record player. Mono tube amplifier, means it wasn't a stereo. 15 bids, brought $182.50.
I've got a Gerard Gunmetal 301 turntable that's in restored sweet condition, they say. Buy it now, and that was $3,000.
Wow.
Pickup only.
Pickup only, huh? And $3,000.
$3,000, and I'm not shipping it.
I got a vintage Pioneer HR100 Dolby 8-track recorder player
There you go.
working, brought $85. And these old reels are reels. I used to like those. Well, some of them were hard to thread. And then some of them you just pull the head up and stick it under it.
I never had any for fun, only for work. Was
Yeah.
the my reel-to-reel experience. And some of them were much harder. All of them were really manual, the ones I worked with.
I used to buy those every time I run up on one.
I've got
I just like the old reel-to-reels.
a Thorns TD520 turntable, fully functional. This is actually from 1987, it says, but it looks older than 1987 to me. But they still got $2,145
Good
on it with
Lord.
$75 shipping.
I've got a Thorns TD160 or 165 turntable. The record player, just the bass, from that plant that we was looking at a while ago.
Yeah.
Same one brought $45.
Oh,
just
so
for the just for
it
a
doesn't
wood.
even have any of the
Nothing.
mechanics in it,
Nothing,
just
it's
the frame.
Just the wood base.
There you go.
So these old record players, if you got those laying around, they bring a little money.
My grandmother gave me a Victrola when I was in college, and it's really cool, but it doesn't have the mechanics inside of it. And I've put my turntable inside of it whenever I've had it, and I have to cut the wire and run it through the side of it, because I'm not going to cut out where the crank hole on the side of it's where I run the wires through, because I'm not going to drill a hole in my Victrola.
Did you
Yeah.
keep the mechanisms?
Well, no, there wasn't anything inside of it. No,
it
was just the case.
Okay.
And so
That's different.
it is. It's cool, but I've not found a turntable that actually fits in it well. You can't. I've never found one that I could close it and leave it playing with the lid closed. So
That's what you need.
that's what I need to find, one that fits it perfectly.
It'd be
Of course,
like-
it'd be nice to just get the mechanics.
If you
and
could find one
restore
for the
it.
45s, just one, a small one that just played 45.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that would fit it. But the needles. We was talking about those a while ago. Those needles, you could go anywhere, dollar store or Walmart. Everybody had needles for them. I haven't seen any of those around.
No, that's all online. Yeah, you're not going
Yeah.
to find any of those.
I can't remember.
Maybe you go to
the last time.
Couches.
Yeah, they probably got one.
Here's speaking of which, here's a Gerard Micro JR turntable. It's the arm with 3 needles. 39 bids on it for $1,900
Wow.
for just the arm and 3 needles.
I've got a vintage tube amp. Just says taken from an old record player. Brought $24.99. Say $25. So these parts bring some money.
Yeah, let's see, I'm scanning through looking for something unusual.
I've got a DOUK, D-O-U-K, not a dork, a DOUK audio 6P, 3P, single Indie Class A tube amplifier, stereo, handmade amp. Now this is a little, probably 10 or 12 inch long and about 5 or 6 inches wide, just a little square base, with the tube holders in it. Brought $168.
Here's another, just a tone arm for it's an SME brand tone arm, $1,700.
Good Lord, you're finding some good stuff.
Gosh, it's from Japan, which free shipping. They'll ship from Japan for free for $1,700.
Yeah, I think I would too if I was in Japan. I'm finding all kinds of.
I could put it on Rocket Man's ship and send it over here.
Yeah. Here's an O-R-T-O-F-O-N, Ortofon,
Yeah.
SPU. It looks very German. It's an SKG old turntable, Delphon turntable. 38 people bid on that for $1,580 from Denmark.
Good
There you
Lord. That's why it's got the strange sounding name.
Yeah. There's a lot of just unusual $1,500 turntables. You can buy a lot of turntables if you got $1,500. It seems like.
So you could.
And I bought a lot of arms. The arms for them.
Okay, we were talking about the needles. Here's over 2,000 vintage phonograph needles, record player needles and cartridges. They were asking $1,200, and they took a best offer something over $400.
Yeah, well, they had $135 shipping though too.
Yeah. So they done
That seems a
all right.
little inflated on the shipping, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'd say so. Depending on where it's at.
I find where I'm at.
Philip, we did have a call. Someone said that they had some 45 records and wondering if any idea if you could find the value of one called Bobby's Girl.
Oh, I remember. I know that song. Okay, while he's looking,
Sure.
Who was the singer on that?
I don't remember, but I remember
I
I've
remember
heard the
some
song.
too, but
Is it If I Want to Be Bobby's Girl, or
I believe
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's it.
well, there's Patty did I Want to Be Bobby's Girl. 1970 went for $35, and then there's Marcy Blaine recorded Bobby's Girl, and that was 1962 in London, and it only went for $6.58.
And the flip side of that was A Time to Dream.
Yeah. So if you have Patty, it's worth more than Marcy Blaine. So $35 as compared to $6.50. But that'd be nice.
There you go.
That'd be a nice find there, no doubt.
Well, you know, they're selling reproduction record players now. You know, so you can get you the record players, and that's making the old vinyl worth a little money. As a matter of fact, some of the artists are putting new albums out on vinyl now.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There was one that I just saw that put out a cassette also.
Oh yeah.
You could get vinyl, you could get MP3, CD, vinyl, and cassette. And cassette cost more than the record did.
Well, cassettes was a big deal when I was growing up.
But
you know,
nowadays
it was
you don't
vinyl
have people
cassettes.
making them, so you're gonna have to pay more for a cassette. So, all right. Well, on that, let's hit our commercial break, and we'll come back and wrap it up.
You're listening to Let's Talk Antiques. This is Thunder Radio.
I've got
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
all right, folks, we're back with Let's Talk Antiques.
Okay, we've got a few more needles we're going to show you because somebody may have some needles laying around. We've got a turntable record player stylus needle cartridge, hardware lot, brought $150. And down here, I had a lot of 230 new needle stylus, superb record player cartridge, turnable, $202.50. And I had one
Well, it's
more.
been a long time ago, hasn't it?
Now just think, where are you going to get these needles? If you got Here's a 3X, and it's got the serial number, which is a SJN1 record player needle for Columbia GP3 turntable, $114. I've got a phonograph record player needle for a Magnavox Micromatic, brought $109. And a needle for another, this is another Magnavox Micromatic, brought $109. So if you got some old needles laying around,
Who would think that
they have value.
that an old record player needle, sitting around in the drawer is worth $109?
And they probably didn't pay $1 for it when they bought
Yeah,
it.
really. Yeah, probably just you bought a couple extras because you didn't want to had to go out and get it. Didn't want to have to go back and get one.
She was always needing them. So you found something really interesting while we
All
were
right. So
on
we
break.
we did radio, and then we went to vinyl or record players. So I searched for reel to reel, and this showed up worth more than all of the reel to reel players. This is really odd. I've never heard of this. The Beatles. This is 23 reel to reel tapes. Mixed mono, some stereo, and then there's a Paul McCartney and a Ringo Starr solo album. So these are real, Sgt. Pepper's and Hard Day's Night albums, but instead of being on cassette or vinyl or whatever, these were on reel-to-reel tapes. And these are open. They've been played.
And I've never heard of
But they're
them.
in wonderful condition. And they sold for $18,435
Oh,
That's some
wow.
money for some real
Wow,
tapes.
you're not kidding.
for 25 reel-to-reel tapes. That
Probably
was,
a stack about like that.
and that was to buy it now. There wasn't an auction. So,
Try to haggle them
Yeah.
or make them an offer.
and this is the holy grail of the reel-to-reel tape recorders. I remember everybody talking about it was the Nagra T. Professional audio reel-to-reel tape recorder, and 25 bids on it went for $9,209.
Wow.
I don't ever recall seeing one.
I've never seen an
any
album.
albums on reel-to-reel.
No.
Unless it was, like a master or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they recorded on them. I remember 8-track. I mean, I don't remember, but I know that when 8-track came out, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
For recording, because you could record
Yeah.
8 channels
Oh yeah. Yeah.
instead of 2. That lays a lot of overhead been there. Within now, you can take a laptop into thousands.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
That's here's another. Now this I'm pretty sure is a bootleg. It's a reel-to-reel of Elvis's New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1976 Elvis concert in Pittsburgh, and so it's a reel-to-reel tape of the concert. I'd say I'm pretty sure it's a bootleg of the thing.
that's where somebody set up and
Yeah.
recorded it. 'Cause
32
those reel-to-reel
bids.
players were,
Yeah.
pretty good size.
$5,500.
Wow.
There you go. Elvis still bringing in the money for that one.
Yeah.
Let's see, a vintage Ampex 300 mono tube reel-to-reel machine, $3,200. That is an old machine.
Not
it
even
looks like
stereo.
yeah, it looks like a boat anchor kind of thing. It looks like a washing machine. Is how
Huge.
is yeah. Here's another Nagra reel-to-reel stereo tape recorder. It's been refurbished, and that went for $3,295. And these are.
Maybe got a nice part of a mixing board, and it was probably 50s or so, or 50s, early 60s, I would say. A couple of weeks ago, I was with him, and he said they used it on the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Wyman Simmons, I was talking with him not too long ago, and he and his son had purchased a recording sound thing from Nashville there somewhere. He said they still had it there somewhere, never had sold it or anything.
Wow.
Practically give to them. It was an insurance
Yeah.
job, and they picked it up. I told him, I said, no telling who's used that.
They're right. You know, I'd like to have some of that old
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
A friend of mine, he traveled to L.A. looking to buy a console when I was in Nashville, and he got Hans Zimmer's old console. That Hans Zimmer works in movies, and he had upgraded to a digital console, and this console had been sitting in a warehouse for like 7 years, and The Lion King was mixed on that console.
Wow.
It was that big of a console, and he got it for just a crazy steal. And he knew somebody probably at the Carrier plant here, and he said that somebody was delivering air conditioners to the West Coast, and they were empty on the drive back, and
So they just brought it back.
he hired them to load it in their truck to bring it back. Now, and here you were talking about master tapes. I've got you remember the band Genesis?
Mm-hmm.
Here is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, 1974, 15 IPS. That's how fast the tape goes, inches per second.
Yeah.
Reel-to-reel master tape, and it's got all the writing on it from the recording studio.
Well, now that's a good find.
Yes, and 21 bids on it, went for $1,646. It's kind of an odd thing to sell too. The record companies own those, and they don't.
Yeah.
Owning it is
It's
kind
part
of
their
special.
intellectual property. I
They're-
got a vintage Bee Gees record player,
All right.
Children's Vanity Fair, 1979. No needle, needs work, $51.
Wow. Let's see. Here's a vintage Ampex recording console, reel to reel. It's a 350C. $1,000 was a buy it now plus $500 shipping.
Wow,
That's-
$500.
It's one of those.
Sure
It's one of
shit.
those things that's made out of solid steel and it's the size of a dishwasher. So there you go.
Now, here's the needles I remember. These Diamond brand, you know, they,
Oh, yeah.
they were in a
I remember
like
those
a
too.
matchbox.
Yep.
Vintage record player needles in original sales container, large lot, brand new, $51, 5 bids. So that was a pretty good buy, probably.
And that's what when talking about the masters, the studio that was behind me, the Molly Hatchet Flirting with Disaster was mixed there, and the guy
wow.
who had hired me said that when he first started working there as an intern, that he was looking through the tape vault and found that, and he's like, I mixed that song every time I could for like a month until I got caught, and they told me to stop playing.
That was big back then.
Absolutely.
I tell you what I like watching on YouTube is where the fans will take like the Star Wars movies and remix
And
them.
chop them up. Yeah, that's amazing what you
I
can
like
do.
the fan. There's a lot of the fan mixes that are good.
Absolutely.
So we're about out of time, aren't we?
We are. I'd tell that we didn't need David here, but he might not come back, so we won't say
No,
that.
we need you, David.